Welcome to Forensic Friday.
Where we examine the intersection of true crime, psychology, and the heart of being human in the middle of it all. I have missed you so much.
In like a week, 2 weeks?
Oh my gosh, this is forever in Nat and Janine time.
I know.
How are you doing?
I'm still waking up.
I woke up at 10:01.
I'm
Your
impressed.
text woke me up,
Wow.
and I just didn't wake up. And Gare's at work today until like 1. Oh, your nails are pretty.
Thanks.
Love them.
I know. I loved the person I went to in Michigan. They were so good. I just don't think anyone out here is as good as he was.
What do you mean?
'Cause my nails, like, when you get like the dip, if
Mm-hmm.
they do it good enough, it like won't peel up.
Yeah.
So he did such a good job, the guy in Michigan. And so I obviously had to get them redone because they were growing out, but they were like not peeling. They were great.
They were not going anywhere.
No. And so I went to this lady and she did better than the person 2 times ago, which like, anyway.
Yeah.
But still, I'm like, not impressed.
This is why I have a consistent person.
I know. I usually go to the same place. I don't have a consistent person yet.
Oh, Tava's my homie. But my mom and I can't go together because we both go to Tava. We have the same
Oh my gosh.
nail gal, we have the same massage therapist.
Yeah. I mean, when you
And
find someone good, you can't switch.
well, no, and then I send everybody else to them, and then there's no room in the calendar.
Mm-hmm.
I've
Mm-hmm.
got to stop doing this. I can't help it though.
Well, I should go to your nail person because I don't know. I like where I usually go. I go to, I forget what it's called, but it's like kind of a chain, but it's really nice. They prize themselves on like the work they do
Yeah.
because it's an expensive place. So I
Yeah.
usually go there, but I went to a place in Frisco with my sister and,
Not
I'm just
great.
like, well, I'm gonna have to get these redone soon because once they start growing out, they're gonna peel. They're gonna like get caught in my hair.
Uh,
I know, it's the worst.
well, and then I start getting after them.
Oh yeah. See, I don't do that because then I like destroy my nails.
Yeah, but you have more self-control. I'll
Well,
be in group. You've seen me in group just peeling
mm-hmm,
them clean off,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
depending on my mood.
mm-hmm.
Oh, well, I've just missed you. I've missed you so
I
much,
know
but
it's been so crazy.
have you had a good week?
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna tell you my story about yesterday, but the week's been fine. The week's been like low key. Christmas was low key.
Oh, good.
Everything was low key. I was really stoked. My dad got me like the brown chair that I have in my office.
Yes. Uh-huh.
My dad got me the same one for this office, for my home office.
Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah, so I got that, and then my father-in-law got me like a rocking nursing chair. I
That's so
know.
nice.
Like a bunch of cute little books and little baggies for moms. I know, it was really sweet.
Oh, that's so good. Pregnant
Yeah.
Christmas is good. Everybody's all excited.
I know, I'm like, I don't need anything personal. I need furniture and baby stuff. That's it.
Oh, honey, well, I got you covered on some of the baby stuff.
Perfect.
Don't you worry. I have a gray corner in my office and I just keep throwing stuff in the
Oh my
pile.
gosh, I love that.
No,
That's
it's
so
wild.
funny.
I got a delivery when the girls were here because my nieces were here for 3 days.
Hmm.
And the kids so we got my brother-in-law, we got him the biggest Nerf gun I've ever seen.
Aw,
I don't think I realized how big it was until he opened it, but it had a giant magazine with like 40 shots in it. And
dang.
so they had the Nerf war to end all Nerf wars. I mean, we had barricades all over our house, and they were like in the trenches sniping each other. I mean,
That's awesome.
I almost shot Gare's eye out because I was playing around with my brother-in-law's gun and I just shot Garrett to be funny and I hit him in the lip, almost hit him in the eye. So then the kids had to wear eye protection.
Oh my gosh.
It was a whole thing, but it was a ball. I'm just exhausted. I'll be tired for a week.
Oh, I know. I was like thinking, I think I'm off until Thursday, but I'm like, do I just like take Thursday off?
I did. I
You
did.
did?
I will not be back in work mode until Monday. I just know me.
I know. That's how I feel.
There's no way. Now, Monday, I'll get up extra early. I'll
Yeah.
make myself look as cute as is possible.
Yeah.
And I will do our normal Monday where we just hit the ground running and I'll feel good. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm not there yet. I'm not going to be there.
Same.
You know?
Dude, okay, I have to tell you what happened yesterday.
Okay, tell me the
I did
story.
not sleep well.
I didn't sleep well. I slept until 10 because couldn't fall asleep till like 2 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, I know. I fell asleep at like midnight and
You
then
keep scaring the shit out of me.
I woke up at 4, like having a nightmare about trains. Oh my gosh.
Golly.
Okay, so I have to tell you. So before I tell you the story, I have to tell you what Preston said regarding this story because obviously I called him like right away
Oh, of
after.
course.
And
Babe, almost died again. How are you?
he and what he responded with was, I've always wondered how people get stuck or die on train tracks. And I was like, well, now we know. Now we understand
So I've
how
been
this,
afraid of trains my entire life because I had to
it's
walk to
terrifying.
school
Mm-hmm.
when I was really little, and I had in Naperville, I had to walk over the train tracks, and I used to get really afraid that my feet would get stuck in the
Oh,
little
that's so
gaps in the
scary.
tracks.
Yeah.
And then my uncle, shout out Uncle Joe if you're listening, was one of the firefighters in DeKalb, Illinois, and they have big trains out there. And he used to talk about people intentionally jumping in front of trains, but also just the crazy crap that happens with trains.
I know.
And as a first responder, that and lawnmowers, I know too much. I just know too much. It'll always scare me.
Yes. So this wasn't like a train. This is like this is like the light rail train track,
Oh,
right?
that's still a train.
It's still a train and they're like little bullets. They don't go like super, super fast, but they go as fast as a normal train,
Yeah, they do.
right? So, oh my gosh, Janine. So we're driving. So we were driving around to look at venues for my baby shower.
Right, right,
Okay.
right.
So
And it's
we
you and
looked,
your mom and your dad.
yes, my mom, my dad, and I. So we looked at a place in Arvada and then we're like, well, let's go look at the place in Lone Tree because I
Mhm.
love it. And, we could talk to them about whatever they have to offer and we could have lunch there.
Yeah.
So I jump in their car and I'm not kidding you. I am not kidding you. I had this thought where I was like, maybe I should just drive myself.
Oh,
And then I was like, no, it's fine. So I get in their car and we're driving, whatever. We get there, it's great. We decide to stick with the place in Lone Tree. We're coming back to Arvada. And it's like we're going into Old Town,
oh
Arvada, right?
Lord.
So like the
Yeah.
main street area, right?
Yeah.
So we're pulling up this hill and we get stopped because there's cars in front of us. A couple cars in front of us, there's a bus. Okay.
Hmm.
So we get stopped
Oh no.
and we're on the tracks. And my mom immediately goes, well, isn't like the best place to be stopped.
You're literally not supposed to stop on the tracks.
But my dad thought traffic was still going because it was like right before we stopped, it was still going.
Oh, right, right.
So he's like, well, I thought traffic was going through. And my mom's like, well, this is not the best place. Then we start seeing the red
Nope.
lights.
Nope. 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 Nope.
We start seeing the red lights and the beeping and the things are going down. And I'm like, oh my God, Dad.
Did you see the train yet, or were they just warning?
I wasn't. I didn't even look for it. Like,
Oh, that's so fair.
there was this girl on the sidewalk and she was like, back up, back up. And so I'm like, Dad, back up, back up. But I didn't look behind to see if we could. Cause like at this
Right.
point, like, I don't have time to do anything.
No.
So he's like frozen. And I'm like, oh my God. And she's like, back up. And I was like, Dad, and I like saw that there was no one in the oncoming traffic
Even
coming.
so, go ram somebody on the other side.
Like, who gives a shit?
Who gives a shit? Back the other guy up.
So I was like, Dad, go in the other lane, go in the other lane, go left, go left. I'm screaming at him,
Oh
go
my God.
left, go left. So he hops the curb, the median,
Oh God.
and gets out of the way. We're in oncoming
Oh
traffic.
my gosh. Oh my gosh.
And I'm like, my whole body's numb at this point. Apparently, my body goes numb when
It
I'm in
goes
like
numb.
life-threatening situations. My
Yes.
legs are numb. I feel like I'm literally about to like go to the
You're a
bathroom in
fighter
my
though.
pants.
You were thinking. I love this for you.
Oh yeah, no, I was like, no one's coming, go. Like,
Your
who gives
dad's
a
a straight up freezer.
flying
He
F?
should never put himself in a dangerous situation.
Oh my gosh. So we're in oncoming traffic, but it's like Old Town, so traffic's not moving fast, right? So I was like, if we hit
Oh,
someone, I don't give a shit.
even 40
Like,
miles an hour, come at me, bro. Like
right.
it's still
It was
better than
like
getting hit by a train.
people are going like maybe 10 because it's this, because right above, like right ahead of us, it's a turn.
Oh yeah, you're fine.
So I was like, I don't care if we hit someone or if they hit us. Like,
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, it'll be our fault because we're in oncoming traffic, but like we'll figure it out, you know?
Oh yeah.
So he like goes, and then obviously someone starts to turn. They're honking at us, and I'm like, oh my God, this is like such a cluster.
Oh.
So we get to like a safe place, and I was like, let me out of the car. I
Oh my
am
gosh.
walking the rest of my way to my car.
Was your dad like horrified?
I think he felt really bad. My mom was pissed.
Oh.
She was so mad.
That sounds scary.
I mean, she was so mad that it was like she wasn't saying anything,
Hmm.
which is like not like my mom.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh my gosh. I don't know if the train, I don't know if I didn't look for the train.
Mm.
So I didn't see like which side it was coming from or anything, but I was just like, oh my God. I just know that these things are coming down and the train comes after, you know?
Mm.
So that was my experience yesterday.
That's insane. You know, we got to watch these dudes as they get a little older.
God, I was like, what? And it was so funny. So then I call Arliss because she's helping me plan my bridal shower, my baby shower.
Right.
And so I'm like calling her. She's thinking I'm calling her to like tell her like, oh, we're gonna go with this venue because I'd already texted her that, you know.
Yeah.
She thought I was calling her to talk to her about it more, and I was like, dude, I just almost died again.
She's like, nope, you're not going anywhere.
And I told her what happened. She's like, Natalie, this is like final destination shit. Like your life is like final destination
Yeah,
stuff. And
you're
I was
not going
like,
anywhere. You know what? My first thought when you went ice fishing
mm.
and ice skating, I was like, absolutely not. What are we doing? What are we doing?
When I went ice skating, ice fishing, I understand. When I went ice skating, I used one of those thingies.
It does not
I
matter.
felt great about it.
Catastrophic things keep happening to you. You need a decision tree when you decide to do something. Number one on the decision tree is text Janine. And I'll save you time. I'm going to say no every time.
Every time.
Every time I'm going to say nope, stay home in your jams.
I know.
I
Well,
know. It's
good
good. You
today,
still have
basically.
to live your big, beautiful life.
Yeah, but not in on a train track. I'm good there.
Clearly, the big guy upstairs is going to keep you here. It's
Oh my,
okay.
I'm like, I have this weird thing too where I'm like, are you trying to tell me something, God? Like,
Yeah, he's
what?
telling you no. Number one on the decision tree.
What, driving with my parents? That shouldn't be one of those things.
It's a no.
Well, now it's
But
a
we didn't
no.
know that, but add it to the decision tree.
Oh my gosh, I know. I know.
Dad, we love you. You can no longer drive.
I
Nah,
will no longer drive with you.
until we're out of this season.
Oh,
Well,
and the poor guy, I'm like, he's from the mountains, so he's like, he's just, yeah, I don't know.
well, it's funny. My
We
dad.
don't have trains there that go just straight across a town,
Oh yeah,
you know?
but a light rail. I mean, we lose people to light rails all the time.
Dude, I am aware. I literally Googled. I said, could I have died?
Yeah, you could have died. You could have
Well, and
died.
it said there was a possibility that I could have lived because I was in a bigger car. I think I just needed that affirmation of like
Website told you this.
Google. I think I just needed affirmation like You could have lived. Like, you're okay. Because my nervous system was like lit up yesterday
Oh,
after.
100%. Yeah, it wasn't sure death.
No.
But we just don't need to take any chances.
No, yeah. So anyway, I was like, I'm good.
You know, my dad came over last night and my mom and we decided to play the game again. You know,
Oh God.
the what's it called?
Okay, but your
MetaQuest.
dad should not play that game.
Pecan seated. He was sitting down and
Okay.
we put pillows on the floor and Garrett still was like spotting him.
Like no dives,
He
dad.
spotted all the kids because they played for 3 days.
Mm.
They did the plank game, they jumped off the end, everything. But you know, my dad, you can't even tell looking at his face that he split his head open swan diving
Right.
in the living room.
That's good.
I know, but he played, we did the roller coaster one, but he could sit down the whole time. So
Nice.
we've learned our lesson.
It's insane,
We
dude.
have learned our lesson. And then we figured out that the plank one, the little kids just wanted to jump off the end, and we're like, this is a suicide
Yeah.
simulator. That's what we're doing. We're
That's
just
so
practicing
sketchy.
jumping off a ledge over and over. This can't be good.
No.
I know. So we stopped.
Yeah, that's
When you
not
hit the
good.
ground, there's like music. It's like, oh,
Oh my
not
God.
great. No, I know. Mac was like, I saw a light. I was like, we're shutting it down.
We're done.
Shutting it
That's
down.
like such a sketchy game.
It is a little bit. I didn't realize. And then there's one, this would kill you. There's one called Spider Cake. So you
Okay.
push the button, you go up in the elevator, and I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you feel like you're in an elevator. There's elevator music.
Mm-hmm.
Walk out on this ledge, and there's a cake at the end of the ledge, and you can go pick it up and bring it back in. You can like throw it off. You can eat it. There's all
Okay.
different things you can do. Okay. So if you pick up like one piece, a spider comes out
Oh, hell no.
and then it's all spiders. And so
Nope.
you turn
Oh my
around and you
God.
go walking back into the thing. Or
Oh, I
maybe
could
you
not.
try to jump in and run into the ottoman. I tried to jump into the elevator to get away from the spider, and there's a giant one climbing towards me on the building.
Hell no.
Oh yeah, you would straight up die. You'll never do that.
I think I would have a heart attack.
I think you would too.
I
My
genuinely think.
niece was like, "What?" She like threw herself down on the ground, and it was the whole thing.
Yeah, no, there's no way I would do that.
Even Uncle Gare couldn't save her. I mean, she
No.
lost it.
Yeah, no, there's no way.
So
I have a case for you.
I'm so excited, and my voice is a little ridiculous. So I'm just gonna drink tea and be here with you for your case.
It's
Respond,
great.
and then hopefully my voice will get better.
Cool. So, talking about near-death experiences, I've
Okay,
had I mean, I've had too many for my liking in a year or in a lifetime.
in a
Okay.
year.
But I'm really happy that none of them have ever happened on a date.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's even more terrifying. Like, at least in my situations, like, I didn't really have any control, but it wasn't based on, I mean, the car one was kind of based on my dad's decision, but it wasn't necessarily based on anyone trying to hurt me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I've only had one moment like that. I was in Anguilla with my best friends in high school, and we were swimming, and it was just me and my high school boyfriend, but we were exes at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And everything was my fault in that relationship. Can I just say, like, I own all of it. I was ridiculous. He was wonderful. But I used to joke with my friends, like, he's going to kill me someday because I've been not a great girlfriend, right?
Okay.
So we end up swimming just the two of us, and we're getting further out, and I'm like seeing stuff. I'm seeing big fish, and I'm starting to get a little bit panicky. And he's, of course, lovely because he's a lovely human being. But
Mhm.
I'm swimming, and I'm like, oh my God, he could kill me. I had this thought. He could kill me. I'm like, there's nobody around. I'm
Uh,
not an amazing swimmer. I mean, I'm average at best,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And I'm out here and we're snorkeling and I'm thinking like, oh, I mean, they would he could literally just kill me. No one would know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so I did have that thought. And then I told him later, which was hilarious. But I had this thought that just went through my head. But that's the closest ever.
Mm.
Never have I ever felt like I was gonna
That's
die on a date.
terrifying. I will say I did go on a date one time in Seattle. My Seattle days were not my best days, but
Mm-mm.
so I met this guy on a flight home from Seattle to Colorado around Christmas, that Christmas.
Oh, you're brave to go on an airport. Like somebody you meet on a plane. That's brave.
Well, he was like my age. He was also a transplant in Seattle. Like he was from Nebraska. So I was like,
Or so he said. Dun dun
right.
dun. Right.
So we met on a plane and we talked a little and then like we actually like didn't stay really in contact after, but then he reached out to me like probably like a couple months later. And was
Right.
like, "Hey, we should grab a bite to eat." Okay. I'm gonna keep this short. So the dude, we go get food. He gets me an appetizer and a drink. We share an appetizer and a drink. That's like his definition of dinner. And then
Okay.
he was like, "Oh, like, and he was like, do you have plans after this?" And I was like, "No." And he was like, "Oh, well, down the street is this really cool plant thing. I don't even know what it's
Okay.
called." And so he's like, "Do you want to come look at it?" And I was like, "Sure." Well, it ends up being like his apartment, and it's like a plant thing at his apartment complex.
Oh, hell no.
So I'm walking in and I'm like, "Where are we?" And then he's like, "Oh, we're actually in my apartment complex. Can we run to my apartment?" And I was like, "No." So I was like, "I'll wait outside while you grab whatever you need to grab." Because he was like, it's like a co-op, like a plant co-op thing.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, "I'll stay outside." He was like, "Oh, you can just stand in the door." Anyway, long story short, homeboy was totally trying to hook up. And I was like, "That's not my life." I left.
Oh.
That was like the closest situation I've ever been to like a sketchy date.
Oh.
Um, Nothing happened, thank God. But yeah. I mean, there's just sketchy people out there, you know?
There are. You gotta like watch your six these days.
Anyway, I would tell people to watch out for him, but I don't know his last name.
Well, I'm sure there's a website for that. You can be like, hey, however many years ago,
Let me see if I might still let me see if I
he's
still have
probably
his
like married
number.
with kids and just fine. But
I hope so. He was so sketch.
those websites are gold. I wish I'd had those.
So, and I met this guy, like I said, on a plane, right? I've never
Yeah.
like had to get into the online dating scene.
Yeah.
So I was gonna ask you, and like short version, how did you meet Gare?
So I met Gare in college.
Hmm.
We technically, he was starting to attend a church that I was attending. And he came in, and I had a small group of 35 people. I was not supposed to add more people. I don't listen to rules, you know this, about some
Hmm.
things.
Hmm.
And he was adorable, and I let him in my group immediately. And that was the rest was history. I mean, I like loved him the first day, but it was definitely in person. I never ever got on the online dating scene at all, partially because when I met Gare, that wasn't really as much of a thing. And I met Gare when I was 20. So
Yeah.
never,
Yeah.
I never did the online thing. But I
I
know
never.
a lot of people who've had great and terrible experiences, like
Yes.
the whole gamut.
Yep. Same. So same here. I met Preston, I believe, at the same church that you met Garrett at, which is so weird
Mm-hmm.
to think about. Because
That is weird.
I was working at this church and he was a volunteer. And so I met him just kind of that way.
Wild.
Again, similar to you, I didn't have to, the date or the online dating scene was just starting to become bigger when I met Preston,
Yeah.
right? It wasn't like a big, yeah, it was actually, people were still on the cusp of like, is it weird or is it not weird
Right.
when I met Preston? And so I remember I was like getting to this point where I was like, I could join like a site that's like not Tinder or whatever was back
Right.
only fish or whatever. And so the only thing I ever thought about joining was Match. And then I met Preston because
Uh,
Match was around for a little while. Same with like eHarmony. And those all
yeah,
seem
yeah,
like
yeah.
to be more legitimate like dating sites versus like hookup sites.
Nothing scares me more than Christian Mingle. Although I do know people who've met each other on Christian Mingle, but to me,
I
that feels like
know.
a just landmine situation.
Oh my God. I agree.
Freaks me right
There's
out.
like so many different ones. There's like ones for farmers and like
I
ones
know.
for just,
What's the one for really rich people?
oh, I don't know.
Okay, there's one, it's so exclusive. I'll find the name and you can put it on social
Do
media.
you have to like prove your income?
Yes, and
Oh my
social
gosh.
media or not social media, celebrities. Raya, I think that's what it's called. They like can't always even get on it. It's super exclusive. It's for like the uppity ups. And it's a whole thing. People try really hard to get on there.
That's wild.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it's crazy. I'll try to find it for you later.
Okay. It's hilarious.
I know. You have to like qualify or something.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, things I'll never know, you know?
Yes, same. Thank God that will
I
never.
same. I would never date again. I told Garrett if something happens to him, like I'm cooked. Because
No, yeah, I'm not dating or getting married again. If
no,
anything
with
happened to Preston, I'm like,
we're done.
we're good,
We'll just
you
pack
know?
it in. I'm gonna
Yeah.
volunteer. I'm gonna, be excellent in my field and
Yeah.
have a whole bunch of p other people in my life. But yeah, no, there's no way.
Yeah. No, I could not see a life of doing that.
Mm-mm.
And this is part of the why. If anything ever happened to Garrett Preston, this is this is part of why I would not get back into the dating scene.
Absolutely. We know too much.
Yeah, so in the case that I'm about to share with you, it's a local case. It happened a couple cities over in Colorado Springs.
Oh,
I know. So I'm gonna have you imagine something.
okay.
Imagine that you are single in your 20s and you match with a person on Tinder.
Okay.
Okay. You go on a date with them and then they invite you to their place for some after party fun.
Ooh, okay.
Spicy.
I
Uh,
know. Already
would
hard to imagine, but okay.
would you do it? Would you
Well,
go?
would I show up?
No, no, like would you go to the after party fun at their place?
No. But
Right. Like, absolutely not. I don't know why that felt like a question from you,
no. Especially,
but
I would want to know exactly what the fun is. I don't want to be surprised by somebody I don't know.
right.
I'm surprised by somebody I do know.
But also, like Dahmer, like you don't go to someone's place after your first date. That's insane.
No, it freaks me out. It happens all the time.
I know. And here's the thing. I'm going to just say this to men and women.
Yeah.
Just, you know what? Most of the time you'll probably be okay, but there's a chance that you won't be.
I would literally tell you, have
And
sex
don't
in the
chance it.
bathroom. Don't go to their house.
Don't chance it. Here's the thing with me though, is my luck is so terrible with these situations. I would be the small percentage that would be in a really terrible situation.
With our luck. If
Yes.
I did that, it would be some kind of European prince situation. If you did that,
I would
straight up
be
serial killer.
I
There's
would
no
be
way.
running for my life.
100%.
So
You don't survive that. That's just the way that is.
that's
Mm-mm.
what I'm saying. Like my near-death experiences had nothing to do with other people trying to hurt me. If it was that, that would be terrifying.
Yeah, no.
So obviously we're not going to go. Okay.
No, hell, absolutely not.
You and I also hear way too many horror stories like of
Yes.
just weirdos and whatever.
Yeah.
Also, we're women, so we are like literally kind of I don't like the word trained. We are taught to be more aware and like more conscious of that kind of stuff,
Yes.
right? Like, watch your six, don't go to someone's place the first time,
Yes.
don't let them pick you up, meet them there, all that stuff.
Right.
What do you think a man would do if a woman invited him to their
Oh,
place?
every time. I cannot think of a world in which a man declines going to a woman's apartment. Even if he doesn't intend to have sex with her, he's going to go for whatever she has to offer.
That's what I'm thinking. So that's what happened.
Oh, no.
So it was a it was a woman. She's a 22-year-old woman. Her name's Lauren Dooley.
Oh,
Okay,
good.
and she invites this 21-year-old dude over for some, just like to hang out, I guess. So he's like, "Yeah, cool." I mean, I think he's pretty sure he's gonna get lucky. Like, you know what I mean? And that's the difference between men and women is men don't have the same, and you and I talk about this all the time with our groups.
Yeah.
Men don't have the same um fear response that women do.
Literally, when we ask a group of men, and we do this every couple months,
Yeah.
What do you do in a day to keep yourself safe? A couple things always come up. Uh, I wear a seatbelt, right? And
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my gosh, that's not even in my top
They're
15.
like, I get a prenup.
I get a prenup. What else do they say that's so funny?
Yeah,
Some of them will say
seatbelt,
lock the door.
brush their teeth. They've all said brush their teeth,
Oh yeah, dental hygiene sometimes comes up.
hygiene,
But it's
um,
never like scan my surroundings, put my keys between my fingers, carry pepper spray,
no,
park under a big light, right? Okay, yeah, never.
never. So this dude is like, heck yeah, I'll go over to your house.
Woohoo! He's going.
But it wasn't what he expected. So I'm gonna fast forward really quickly to what the police found. I'm
Oh
sorry, it's
shit.
not funny. He lived. We're all good, okay?
Oh, okay, so we can laugh a little bit and feel
We can
less
laugh a
guilty.
little bit.
Okay.
So fast forward to what the police saw. They saw a naked 20-year-old man standing in a parking lot bleeding from his arm, looking super haggard and like needed medical help. Okay. So that's what they found. Okay.
Jeez.
No, yeah, it's a whole thing.
And he's looking haggard? What does that mean?
Just like he looked like injured,
Oh gosh.
like he was fighting for his life because he was.
Yeah.
So what happened? And here's the thing, if you Google her, she's like, I don't know how tall she is, but she's small.
Small and motivated.
Yeah, like she looks really like lit, like skinny. Okay, so that's part of this too, is I think people, men like look at women and they're like, oh, well, she's little, like she's not gonna do much harm.
They
I'm not,
underestimate.
they underestimate. Okay. So anyway,
Scrappy.
so what happened was after this date that they went on, they
Mm-hmm.
went back to her apartment, like I said.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and her name, like I said earlier, is Lauren Dooley. I'm gonna call her Dooley. Okay.
Two first names already suspicious.
You think Dooley's the first name?
Well, yeah. Lauren Julie?
Dooley.
Oh, I thought it was Julie. I'm like, Lauren Julie, pick a name, girl.
No, Dooley, Dooley.
Okay, well then I'm less suspicious.
Okay. So I mean she's still sketchy, but
But he doesn't know that.
no. So they go back to her place and they talked, and then Dooley took off some of the victim's clothing and performed, quote, a sexual act on him.
Okay, blowjob, yes.
For sure.
What else is there?
Sure. So then she used duct tape to bind the victim's wrist. Here's the other thing. They don't say the victim's name, which I totally get. He's probably mortified and traumatized, and we're going to get into all that.
Oh, totally.
So she duct taped and to bind the victim's wrist and ankles together. While the victim found this odd, he was like, okay, like he consented at the time.
And I do think a man is more likely to consent to like a BDSM situation on a first date than a woman, because a woman's going to be like, he's gonna
Bye.
kill me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's thinking she's just a little bit kinky.
Yeah, she's like a little freaky. Yep.
Okay.
So it was when she pulled out the kitchen knife and demanded that the victim go to the victim's bedroom and lay on the bed that he no longer consented to this situation.
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah, he was
Like no
terrified.
knife play on a first date. Thank you very much.
Or ever, but that's just me.
Ever, ever. We'll cover that in the
Um,
BDSM episode.
I know, it's crazy.
Oh my gosh.
So he was like, yeah, I don't want to stay here anymore. Well, that was no longer an option for him.
Mm.
It was reported that he was obviously really scared.
So she threatened him with the knife to get him to go to the bedroom.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes. He was scared, so he complied with what she was telling him to do because he's like, oh my gosh, like, is this just going to turn into some really crazy, freaky thing or is she going to hurt me? But he's like,
mm.
I will listen to her.
Yeah,
I don't want to die. So she
100%.
then climbs on top of him with the knife and cuts his left shoulder.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. She then strangles the victim a
Mm.
couple of times for about 20 seconds, followed by strangling him with the belt, tightening it around his neck for about 20 seconds. Yeah.
Mm.
She took this to a different level.
Well, yeah, she did.
Yes. This kills me. She then got very upset that he was bleeding all over her bed. Like, girl, what did you think was going to happen when you cut him? Yeah, like
How dare
upset
he?
with
How
him.
dare he bleed when you cut him with a knife?
I know. So she got really upset that he was bleeding all over her bed. So she told him to get into the bathtub. Also, I'm like sitting here, I'm like, if his ankles are bound, how is he able to move around very easily? I don't
Probably
know.
hopping. I don't even want to think about it. Poor baby.
I know. He's like
Oh,
21,
oh,
dude.
that's horrible.
I would, anyway,
Yep.
I don't have a son, but I'd be pissed if this was my son.
I was just thinking the same thing. I'm like, oh, if I
Yeah.
wouldn't throw myself through that front door.
Right,
Again,
that's what I was
SOS. I'm like,
thinking.
listen here, little girl.
Oh, yeah, no,
Mm,
100%. So she then orders, this chick's kind of strange. She then orders food from a food delivery system. Wasn't specific. So for reference, like DoorDash or Grubhub or something like that. Okay.
okay.
She told the victim if you say anything or yell that she'll kill him. So there's the threat.
Mm.
After she ate, like this chick's like kind of Dahmer situation, like a little Dahmery. After she ate, she didn't like eat him, but anyway, after she
Mm.
ate, she got in bed with the victim and pulled the blankets over him and her.
Let's cuddle, babe.
Cuddle time.
And he's still bound, I'm assuming, because otherwise
Yeah.
he's
Oh,
gonna
for
run like hell.
sure.
Yeah.
Yes. So the
Oh,
victim noticed that the knife was under the blanket near his feet. So when Dooley fell asleep, he used the knife to cut himself free.
okay.
She was able to get out. As he was getting his keys, he bumped into the table and woke Dooley up.
Oh no.
So she started chasing after him. He ran to the parking lot for help. Okay, so the police, I believe, found him like backing up from her and she's pursuing him in the parking lot and he has blood all over him. He's naked and
Mm.
she has blood on her hands and all over her. It was a whole thing.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, can you imagine if you lived there?
Well, and I'm thinking about law enforcement showing up. They're not going to assume initially
Mm-hmm.
that he's the victim. They may
Mm-hmm.
assume that he did something and she's fighting
Mm-hmm.
back. Because statistically, that's what they're going to think.
I think the only reason they thought he might be the victim is because she was clothed and he wasn't.
Mm, mm-hmm.
I think it's potentially because it didn't sound like the police, automatically went to him and was like, "What are you doing to her?"
Yeah.
So the police searched the apartment. They found a knife, blood-soaked rags, and blood all over her bathtub, of course.
Mm,
She was charged with second-degree kidnapping, 2 counts of second-degree assault, menacing, and false imprisonment. Here's the thing. I think, and that's like what she was charged with.
yeah.
I can't imagine that they're going to drop much of that in
No.
in her case
Mm-mm.
because it's all right there.
Oh, it's all right there. Yeah. This is
So
easy.
I don't know if she's going to get much of a plea deal
Mm-mm.
out of the situation.
Mm-mm.
So when you hear this case, it's a short one because it was just like a situation that happened. I don't have any information on their histories or anything, just that they're both young in the single world trying to figure life out. What are your thoughts on the case?
Okay. This is statistically male behavior.
Yes.
So that does not mean that women don't do this. Clearly, here's a case,
Right.
right?
Right.
And we've seen others. But it is very interesting because the power and control, the strangulation.
Mm-hmm.
I've worked with a couple females over the years who have strangled their partner. It does actually happen,
Mm-hmm.
but not with the same frequency.
Mm-mm.
I don't know, man. This is an extraordinarily dangerous individual.
Right.
And the thing that's so interesting to me, Nat, is she clearly, if she wanted to kill him, she would have killed him.
Yeah, but I think she would have.
Do you think she would have killed him like in the morning?
Yeah.
I
Because,
don't
like,
think.
how is she going to get out of that situation without getting in trouble?
Oh, that's fair.
I
She would have a hard time disposing of the bodies. So one of the things that happens to women have a really hard time disposing of bodies. We're not as strong as men typically. There are
Yeah.
exceptions.
Yeah.
That can get real hairy. So it could have been a he said, she said. situation, or she could have killed him and tried to make it look like she was the one who was in
Victim.
danger.
Yep.
But I don't know.
Yeah. I don't like, I just
And we
don't know.
don't know what she was thinking. She might have thought, this is my new man. Like there are, because you know what? Men act this way
Yeah.
and they get pretty attached to the victim.
Yeah.
She might have been thinking, like, he
But
lives here
they
now and he's mine.
they were on their first date.
Oh, no, I know. Oh, it's bad.
So, I mean, yeah, she might have like just been like really mentally ill and just thought like,
Mm-hmm.
we're now together and this is what I like and sex and but like I don't see her letting him leave.
Mm-mm.
You
How,
know,
when did this happen?
this was in September. Let me look. Yeah, this happened on September 28th of 24.
Oh my gosh. So it's worth saying also, domestic violence can happen even if you haven't slept with somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's a one night stand, it does not matter.
Nope.
So the truth is, because he didn't die, there's a very good chance that she will end up doing domestic violence treatment in the community.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, she probably will.
She will. And it'll be very interesting to see, what that looks like. We know some of the experts down in the Springs,
Yeah.
but it'll be very interesting to see what kind of treatment she gets, what kind of time she gets. Because
Yeah.
I will tell you, I know of a case where a man,
I mean, this could be like an attempted murder.
but I know of a
Threatened him.
case where a man had a documented history of legal trouble
Yeah.
and domestic violence, shot at the victim, hit the headboard a foot away from her head.
Oh my gosh.
She had a video of it, and he spent 6 months in jail.
Oh my gosh.
Uh-huh. And he was out for a very long time. He was out for a long time before he even went into jail.
Wow. Wow.
Oh, kids in the home, the whole 9 yards.
Oh my
six
gosh.
months.
Mm,
Mm-hmm.
that's
So
insane.
there is a world in which if she's a first-time offender, we've told you women are stabby.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But there is a world in which she stays out in the community on probation and does treatment.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen cases that are just as bad, if not a little worse than this.
She'll plead down to assault, is what she'll do.
Yeah.
She'll plead down to probably assault.
And maybe false imprisonment.
Yeah,
Those
oh,
two, I think
definitely
will
false
those two will
imprisonment.
stick.
Yeah. Or
Yeah, no.
kidnapping. We've seen kidnapping out in the community.
Yeah, but I bet it'll be false imprisonment because he willingly went to her house.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. And, one of the things that I thought was, well, I wanted to ask you for the psychology part of her, where, like, if you had to pick a diagnosis, what would you pick for?
Cluster B, antisocial borderline.
That's what I thought.
Yep.
Or, so I thought that or a psychotic episode.
Yes.
The only reason I wouldn't say psychotic episode is because my guess is she was pretty normal on the date.
Well, yeah, and also I don't know that
Otherwise,
her
he probably wouldn't
thinking
have
is
gone.
tangential.
Hmm.
It feels a little bit more linear. Like she had a plan.
She had a plan.
She had a bit of a plan, at
Hmm.
least a loose plan. She had duct
Yeah.
tape, she grabbed the
Yeah.
knife. This was all power and control.
Yeah. So
I
then
do
I wonder,
suspect
like,
trauma.
if that's what I was going to say, then I wonder if there's that type of trauma and she was acting out of that space.
Well, it could be a trauma reenactment. Even then, though,
Hmm.
you can have both. I mean, she
Hmm.
could have, and again, we're not stigmatizing the personality disorders. It's
Hmm.
just when you have that cluster B personality disorder,
Hmm.
you're a little bit more likely to engage in dangerous behaviors
And impulsive
and
behaviors.
impulsive behaviors, and you don't have the same breaks
Yep.
that somebody else might have.
Yep.
Manic episodes can get a little wild sometimes too. So,
Yeah.
it could be,
I was thinking manic with psychosis.
mm-hmm.
I've
Yeah.
seen some pretty wild stuff from individuals who are manic with psychosis.
Mm-hmm.
So some sort of, I would agree, cluster B, antisocial,
Yes.
borderline, potentially, manic with psychotic features,
Did she have a
somewhere
criminal
in there.
history? What do we
It
know
didn't
about
say
her?
it didn't say if she did.
Okay.
Yeah. I even went as far as to like look up to see if I could find like social media. I think I might have found it, but it's blocked, like it's a private page.
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
So,
When is her sentencing or court or whatever?
it didn't say that either in the article that I read because it was pretty new when I read it.
I'll do some digging in El Paso and see if I can
Okay.
find her case.
Yeah, I was like, we should go to her court hearing. Anyway,
That would be fascinating.
I know. But what do you think he's gonna face
Hmm.
after this experience? 21 years old,
Hmm.
on a date with a seemingly really tiny human.
Mm-hmm. Trauma.
Oh, for sure.
PTSD will
PTSD.
depend on his own personal constitution because not
Mm-hmm.
everybody's not everybody responds to trauma the same way.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
But I would guess maybe potentially PTSD.
Potentially PTSD and avoidance. I mean, if it was me, I'd be like,
Nope.
nope, I'm off. I'm off
No
relationship.
more dating.
No more dating. Like, I'm gonna need a minute. I mean, I bet it was probably pretty scary to meet new people after this
Yeah. Yeah.
experience.
Especially, and that's the hard thing. He's 21. That's like how Gen Zs are meeting people is
Yeah,
on
I
that's
where else are you
that's
gonna meet
the
people? They don't go anywhere.
no, that's the main form that they meet people.
Hmm.
So this poor kid, like meets this girl who seems pretty nice. I mean, I don't think many people, unless you're really just like looking for a hookup, would go home with someone who's not at least seemingly normal on the date.
Oh yeah. I think they probably had a pretty normal date.
And so I think, for him, he's probably like, what? Like, I mean, sad, fortunately, not all women are like that.
No.
Most women are not like that. However, that's how those like cognitive distortions get started is like, all women are nuts. This is insane.
Well, and I think women feel pressure to be sexual anyway, so I can imagine she might have been a little bit spicy on the date in a way that made him feel hopeful that there was going to be an encounter
Yeah.
at her place. He didn't know that she was going to show up the way she did in that, though.
Right. My thoughts for him, I feel for him because he's young, he had this experience. He could just chalk it up, like you said, like he might be based on how he takes the situation, he might be like, well, that was an insane situation and like move on.
Right.
And just maybe be more cautious as he engages in his dating world, or he might really actually be super impacted by this.
Mm.
You just never know. I know for most women, this would be terrible, terrible.
Oh,
I don't see many women coming out of this type of situation in an okay space.
we've worked
Um,
with women who've gone through this and they're not okay.
right. But that's what makes me sad for men, though, is I think they're still wired to not feel as deeply, or like they're not taught to be in tune with how they feel or how they register things.
And not share
So
that, certainly, with other people, too.
exactly. It's like, well, bro, yeah, that was a crazy situation. Thank God that, you got out, rather than like, no, that was actually like life threatening,
Absolutely.
you know? I think it just doesn't always register the same because of how men are kind of taught in our society, which makes me sad,
Absolutely.
you know?
Oh,
I know. So my heart
feel
piece
for
for
him.
for him is that if you're out there and you ever listen to this, you probably won't. Um,
True crime may not be on his list.
yeah. If you are out there, I would encourage you to get a therapist, whatever you feel is totally normal, and acknowledge it because that's a really terrifying situation and it you you know You were taken by surprise. And my heart piece for her is kind of the same. Like, girl, get some help.
Well, and women are, and I'm speaking to the women now because we have a really large percentage of our listeners are female. If you have a little bit of a controlling bend
Uh-huh.
because of the things that you've been through, because you're always kind of on the defense trying to protect yourself, whatever, please get help because the truth is women can be very aggressive and you're not crazy. You have things going on and you need help and support from somebody who knows how to help you. And you
Hmm.
probably need to treat whatever's underlying that behavior.
Yeah.
But women can be violent. And so for our male listeners, you watch your six too. It's okay to
Yep.
be cautious.
Yep.
You're not being a wimp as a
No.
man if you set boundaries or consider your own consent or pay attention to your
Right.
own alert system.
Right.
Women just have a more finely tuned alert system because it's active all the time.
Yep.
It is literally in our genetic makeup,
Yep.
have busier brains. And so,
Yep.
you know, men aren't scanning their environment the same
Surroundings.
way that a woman is.
Yep. Yep. Well, and my encouragement for men, like I said before, like this is a rare situation. Like this isn't a common
Mm-hmm.
situation, but like you said, it's still okay to have boundaries. You know,
Yes,
at the end of the day, your safety is just as important as our safety.
absolutely.
I think society talks more about keeping women safe, but men need to be safe too. And so,
Yes. And men need to consent to. We have worked
yes.
with many men who, I've had people say, well, how can a man even be sexually abused? Oh, there are many ways a man can be sexually abused. And I think men need to consent to an experience too. So
Mm-hmm.
if you're a woman and you're being pushy or you're in a pissy mood if they won't have sex with you or whatever else, you're doing the same exact thing that men do. It's sexual coercion,
Yep.
sexual abuse, and you
Yep.
can sexually assault a man. That's just the truth,
Yes. Yes.
you know?
Absolutely. Yes.
Movie with Beyonce, Obsessed. Do you know
Oh,
what I'm
yeah.
talking about?
It
With
was a
that one chick?
spin-off. I think that was a spin-off of that one, the Fatal Attraction.
Yeah, but that is a wild movie, but actually a
Yeah.
decent example of
Mm-hmm.
female violence, female control, female stalking, which
Yep.
does happen.
Yep. Same. That's the same thing with Fatal Attraction. That movie's insane.
Ugh, and I'm gonna do stalking. I keep saying it. I've been saying it for months. I have it outlined,
Yeah.
but it's so big. And
It's
the
so big.
number one case that I've ever worked on with stalking was actually a female stalker.
Yeah.
That was a random non-romantic stalking case.
Mm. Wow.
And so I'm gonna cover that because it's fascinating.
Yeah. Yeah. So my biggest encouragement to you men out there, young men who are in the dating scene
Mm.
is still be careful. Women can
Be
be crazy too. We can be
careful.
savvy.
Also, Truth Finder. Like,
Yes.
get some it's worth a subscription, people.
Yeah, like just figure it out. And here's the thing. I know it's like really exciting. Like you might get lucky on the first date. Wait till the third.
Yeah,
Just feel it out.
give
You
it
know,
a minute.
give it a minute.
Give
It's
it, they're not
fun.
going to listen to that.
I know, but I can try.
You can try. You can try. Look at you already momming out.
I
Give it
know.
a minute, boys. Please.
Oh yeah. Well, if I had boys, that would be, I don't even know if I had a boy come in.
Ugh, I'll let you know how that goes when we get there. But
Yeah, thank you.
I will tell you though, raising our sons with empathy
Hmm.
does give them a little bit more awareness of some of these things
Yes.
because they're a little more aware of what's going on around them.
That's so true.
So we got to do that.
Yep.
Oh, good case, Nat.
I know. It's a short one, but spicy one.
I'm also so thankful that he survived.
I am too. Yeah. And my hope that if he's really experiencing some big responses to this, emotional responses, get some help. There's nothing wrong with that.
Well, and this
Mhm.
chick needs help, but she also needs to be contained. So,
Oh yeah.
you know what I mean? She will kill someone. She's on a trajectory to kill somebody.
Oh yeah, for
And
sure.
treatment is great. Nat and I are treatment professionals. We work with these folks every day.
Yeah.
If she doesn't come around quick in therapy, she should be in jail.
Oh, for sure. She's one of
But she's
those.
a risk to the community.
She's one of those that could either get better or significantly not.
Yeah, significantly worse. Yeah.
Yep. So,
Mm.
anyway,
Well, thanks so much, girl.
yes, you guys stay tuned. We've got some good stuff coming for you. This was a little bit of a, you know, New Year little teaser of some of the things that we have coming. So, stay tuned. And as always,
Bye, forensic friends. I'm Janine.
and I'm Nat.
And as always, thanks for listening and join us next week for more crime, psychology, and heart.